And we are live. Hold on, but now my program doesn't get your audio. Let me just switch this. Alright. I think we should both be coming through now. I think we
I can check it.
Okay.
Yeah, we look pretty handsome.
Alright.
Alright, let me move this so it doesn't fall down, because that's bound to happen. Alright, bro, let's get it going.
The world's on fire! Burn it to the ground. It's just a bunch of bricks, Paul. Bricks and Christian filth.
Well, yeah, I mean, I know I've been waiting there to like talk to you and everything, but no point anymore because they've had a look into it. And it's just an electrical fault. Like, it's all been resolved.
But you know what? You see,
even though they told us it was like a construction fire, whilst it was still on fire, so obviously an accidental fire. Whilst it's on fire.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I know people who are, let me just say, kind of mainstream moderate Democrats, like the Democrats that don't know the party has turned radical on them yet. And even they thought it was kind of suspicious that they were ruling things out and saying what it was while it was still burning. Like, even they were kind of like, well, they didn't even put it out, and they were already saying what it was and what it wasn't. But I think, you know, to follow the wise words of, I think it was Obama's advisor, Rahm Emanuel, we should never let a good crisis go to waste, because I didn't realize how widespread Christian persecution has now flooded into Europe, basically. Like, I knew it was a problem in the Middle East.
Had 800 attacks on churches in the last year.
Yeah.
2 a day. And just in the last month, well, last 3 weeks, had something like 48 or something. But there's no investigation into that, just nothing. So that's what Martina and Jack need to do for the Rebel, so I know they're in Paris. They might want to ignore the Notre Dame and maybe look at some of these smaller cases, because you might use it to get information on that, especially locals. But could you imagine if 48 mosques had been attacked in London?
Yeah, right. Well, and I think if anything, if it's
Islamophobic.
It was, and I was going to say, it's a more...
The security that mosque would have would be unbelievable, but yet there's been 800 attacks in a year. There's literally no security for the churches. And there's no plans to have any security for them. There's no measure in place, because nothing's going on. They're all electrical fires. I mean, stuff's blowing up. It's not just churches in France that's blowing up. Everything's fucking blowing up, and it's like, oh, that was like just an oven gas fire. This was just a car backfiring. The beheading, he just slipped on a knife. Maybe had a church beheading, for crying out loud. So everything's on fire in France, and it's never, ever anything going on.
Well,
800 attacks, probably just Christians doing it themselves.
And
the celebration of it is everywhere as well. It's not just Islam.
What?
White friends are because of colonism.
Hold on. You know what I heard yesterday, though? Something I heard.
Could you imagine if Mecca burned?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not a fan of the Muslims, but I wouldn't be celebrating Mecca.
Hold on. I got an even. I have something even worse to throw your way. Guess what I heard yesterday when people were discussing the fire? I heard a woman say...
Hang on, let me guess.
Okay.
What did they say?
Guess who she thought was behind it? Her first reaction. And it just shows Exactly! Yup. She thought the yellow vests, the people that are essentially... French nationalist-ish, you know, people who...
Can we say that word still?
Right? Yeah,
Are you allowed to say that?
Yeah, hold on. Yeah, I mean well, and that's the thing. I mean, nationalist has turned into a extra dirty word, especially since you saw the congressional thing with them trying to turn Candace Owens into a Hitler apologist. I mean, that was
Yeah, I'm not
just
really fucking bothered about that, to be honest with
it.
you.
But well, I mean, she was questioned about nationalism, and she said, nationalism has turned into a dirty word because people equate it to Hitler. But she was like, I wouldn't even consider Hitler a nationalist because he was invading everywhere and trying to spread Nazism. He wasn't concerned with what went on in his borders. He wanted to expand his borders.
Yeah, let's change subject. It's stupid on both ends, to be honest with you.
But
Candice didn't really help herself.
But yeah, as far as the churches and all of that stuff, like you were saying, I think more of a story is all of the other churches than this big one. And there's a thing that the media and the sort of power establishment does where it's not as much a scapegoating type thing, but it's like a dismissal thing where it's like you'll have 100 fake hate crimes happen, and then you'll have one that happens, and then they'll be like, well, this one is real, so therefore ignore everything else. And that's what I think they're going to try to do with this, where they're going to be like...
It's going to be used to bring... France really has to come together now, so everyone's going to stop talking about the Yellow Fest, at least for a while. It's the first time Macron's come out. Macron! It's the first time we've heard or seen anything. So it's a great opportunity for him to get back in the limelight. And on that day, he was supposed to be doing a big talk about what he was going to do about the Yellow Fest and bringing in extreme measures to deal with it. And now this is going to sort of definitely get that out of the way. But I don't really want to get too much into Macron and the state of France. But it certainly is an image of France, where France is. I mean, let's just look at France in the last couple of years. We've had terror. Obviously the concert attack, you had the Nice terror attack, you had attacks in Germany not far away. It's just constantly gone. I mean, it's been 25 weeks of complete presence, where Paris is completely shut down. You have 800 attacks, and yet, we're not gonna just talk about it. It's not happening. We're not gonna give these people any security. So obviously, as each time we look at politics, like I don't want to admit it, but everything comes down to an attack on Christianity. And if you bring up a Vice article for me, which is really handy right now, which is called, it was something to do with how dodgy April 15th is, how bad the first couple of weeks of April are for America. You had the Columbine shooting, you had the Titanic going down. The Titanic went down in 1911, which is 9/11, isn't it? Which I thought was weird. And 911 people died on the Titanic. So it went down on 9/11. And like, I'm serious, man. I think this was a ritual burning. I really do. Because it's the beginning of a very important week for the Christians. It's the Holy Week. They took... I know we shouldn't go down conspiracy theories. I mean, investigation isn't done, but they took a lot of the 12 apostles out of the Notre Dame, and to take them, now they're taking photos of them, and they're all beheaded because the heads are separate on the statues. You've got the 12 apostles with their heads by their feet, and it's just quite an image. It's almost like Revelations, isn't it? The beheading of the Christians. So I don't know if you've got that Vice article that April's a really bad.
I'm trying. It's just difficult when I have the screen turned sideways for you.
But the amount of stuff that happens in April, if you go on this day in April, it does seem to be pretty full on. Especially for order out of chaos ideas. The Boston bombing was around that time too. The Boston firecracker. And I was suspicious at first. I thought, okay, it could be a. As soon as they said, whilst it was burning, a couple of minutes, definitely construction work. Definitely.